opportunity to do this, but we want to do this a little bit differently. We want to offer up, because not everybody wants to say something, and some people want to say more than they should. So we want to offer the opportunity for people to come up to the front if they feel willing to do so, and just share with us their feelings about what they liked about this conference. Were there things that really kind of rocked their boat, that sort of thing. One of the things that I personally got out of this whole experience, I mean, I really enjoyed it last year, and as I was saying to our smaller groups, which were kind of like mini plenary sessions, if you will, I said that this year's experience was a little bit different for me, because last year I was an attendee. I came, I knew nothing about what was done behind the scenes to kind of build up to the event. But this time I was involved. I was involved in a lot of different ways, some of it from a technology standpoint, which is part of my sweet spot, my personal sweet spot. Part of it was from just being a sounding board to others. And so I came into this with a slightly different kind of perspective on things, I guess, as anyone would. For example, you know, Sashar putting together, you know, some kind of presentation to do goes into it, or the documentary, you know, to us, it was an amazing experience. We saw something, and we saw a part of Sashar, which gave us a lot of insight into where he came from. And yet Sashar said that he looked at it and kind of felt very uncomfortable with it. And so you go into this sort of, I hope this is good. A lot of people have put a lot of work into it, and I really, 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 really hope that people enjoy it and get something out of it. So as I was sitting there, sort of thinking about, what the heck am I going to say? I realized that so much of what this experience is about is that we discover our commonality through our differences. I think we really do. By experiencing a whole bunch of people expressing their versions of religion or spirituality to the rest of us, we start to understand ourselves better, and we understand better how we connect to each other. So I think that these events illuminate and allow us to explore those differences that lead us to our commonality. Now, one of the areas that I've become more and more interested and concerned about, as I'm sure many of us are, is the state of the world. There are so many things, divisive things, destructive things, you know, toxic air, toxic water, toxic soil, you know, agriculturing to death, monoculture, etc., etc., etc. There, you know, the climate is going to hell in a handbag. And so I thought, before we got people coming up here and sharing their thoughts about this particular event that we've had, I wanted to play a video that's actually on the list that Sarah so kindly put together for us. It's on the website, so you can go back to it and look at it again. But I feel like it throws an interesting question out there for all of us to think about as we ponder this world that we live in as spiritual finger puppets, as I like to call it, because we're all this common oneness, but at the same time we're projecting out different expressions of that oneness, whether it be religious, whether it be, you know, in my case, you know, my expression of my gender. We all sort of come from that singularity and then express out a projector on a sort of internal sphere all these differences. And I think that's great. I think that the fact that we express ourselves in so many ways, gives the universe, the consciousness, whatever, a lot of different ways to explore what it means to be life. So, with that, I would like to throw out this video. I discovered this purely by accident because I was looking for things that were inspirational related to another part of the area that I'm interested in, which is concerns about the environment and what we're doing and what we're not doing and whatnot. And I felt it really fit in quite well with this because it represents the physicality that we all deal with every day. The world that we live in, the world that we're impacting and affecting. And at the same time, we're looking for these spiritual messages, the spiritual connection. And I think the two are very related. And I found this to be a very brilliant expression of someone's way to say, I can change things somehow. I can use, here's a rapper who has used his musical talent and his brilliance and his concern about the environment to put together a very, very compelling message of change. And I think to tie this all together, this is what this is all about, is we're getting together and we're talking about our spirituality, our commonality, our oneness, and how we take that from here and we move forward and we do something about it. We change. So if I say, what is it that I got from this conference? I'd say, I got the message or a reinforcement of a message to try and find ways in my own small, humble way to help the world change to be a better place. So, with that, I would like to offer up the mic. Okay, so the question is, well, there's actually two. Question number one is, anybody who would like to, please come up to the podium and talk about what it is that they liked, what things they got out of it from a, a feeling standpoint. And then the second one is, what would you like to see next year? So that's what we're offering up to you.
So would anybody like to volunteer answering your questions? Nobody?
Microphone's not an easy thing to come and get. It's my background, and I'm used to making big goofs, and that's how kind of gets easier. You have to come up here and make big goofs. Anyway, that's not what I came to say. I would really like next year to see the addition of, we had music here and creative music. I would like to see an opportunity for music. It could be themed music in the break times that reflects our purpose and our goals. Something like that to just let people enjoy and continue to get a mood. Music is such a fine way to learn, and so that's my offer.
The word Aryan means nobility, and Hitler took it to mean noble people are exclusive, and a lot of people died because of that. I've been to Auschwitz-Birkenau. It's a very sad place. If you've ever been there, you'll know that also. But Aryan actually means inclusivity. But one has to know what the word means to be able to follow it. Yes? Religion comes from a Latin root, which means religare, which means to bind back, to go home. In other words, to find one's potential. And so religion has a philosophical component and a practical component. This philosophical component we call spirituality. The practical component we call rituals. Both are needed to change. If we just philosophize, nothing changes. And if we just ritualize, also nothing changes. And I feel that next year, and not just next year, in our lives, we should focus on both. Yesterday someone had shared, we should just play and be free and so on. But you have to know that you're free to benefit by it. If you don't know you're free, you don't benefit by it. If I don't know what it means to be a Canadian, I can't enjoy Canada. And every religion, if we study our own religion well, we'll realize our religions are united. Yesterday I was hearing someone talk about we don't engage in idol worship. That's not true. The cross is an idol. The symbol of Sikhism is an idol. A wedding ring is an idol. Everything is an idol, and nobody worships idols. We worship ideals. But that again requires philosophy. So the knowledge, because then practice can happen. And I would really like to see more of that next year. Like, fun is fun. Well, how do we not end this conference? It's not a 2-day conference. Like Thanksgiving is not a day. It's a vision. Yes? So that's what if we can somehow bring that philosophy and practice, and we all together walk our own ways in our lives, that would be wonderful.
Last chance, anybody else? Sure. Oh, sorry. Stephen?
Thanks for that. I was thinking about the rational element, and we've had some very good explanations of the role of religion and how it can be a unifying force. But I felt it was good that the non-rational voice was also expressed, such as the feminist orientation in Hildegard de Bingen. I know somebody who wants to introduce Hildegard to another conference, and I was very impressed by the earth orientation, and then by the vignette that you just showed. I thought they dovetailed together because there are bigger issues we have to think about. Well, not just think about, act on. And speaking of the non-rational voice, the dance was a very good thing to end on, because it really absorbed all of us, and it's a way of getting out of your mind. And if we could, as a planet, get out of our minds just a little bit, then perhaps we could develop more empathy towards the planet as a whole. So I would suggest that in the future, this event end up with something that's dynamic and a little bit non-rational. It was so much fun, so absorbing. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes?
Wow. I'm so blessed and honored to be a presenter and to be here in front of you. And as I'm seeing the spirits around here and all of us within us, I would only encourage each and every one of us that as we learn from guests and speakers up here, that we learn how to become greater human beings. And one of the teachings that we've been told is that more hands, less work. So rather than focusing on a year from now, we come back in the year and we bring our lists of what we've done every single day, or what we've done every step along the way to next year. As individuals, have we brought dance? Have we brought spirit back home? Have we brought sanctuary to chaos back into the cities? Have we changed our lives? Have we rebirthed ourselves in the new days that come ahead? So I believe it's now up to us, because we're the ones that we've been waiting for, and we have a lot to share about the prophecies that are coming through. And as I was sharing and listening to a lot of us here, that we are harmonizing as we've been able to share, and it was amazing to see our brother doing the dancing today, and it just brought back, you know, a lot of emotion and tears for all of us inside, and I can feel it powerful of how we think of our grandmother, our Mother Earth, and that we must remember this is a time of celebration. When great nations come together, there's going to be a abrasion, which is that we get along in the marriage and the matrimony of ourselves. So with that, I'd like to do the honor of, I was honored to open us up in prayer, and I'd like to close us in prayer. Because what's most important is that we do not leave here sad, mad, or confused, or tasked, that we have successfully come here through the Shen, and I was honored to be a part of this. And I'll be honored to share this message back to my communities and people that I meet, to share that we have achieved a great step here with each and every one of you. And I would like to have us close in a circle whenever you are ready, and if we can do this, that would be an honor for us, because as you see empty chairs here, there are spirits here. And those spirits are, as I was mentioning in the opening, that the spirits that are here with us are our greatest ancestors that are here watching us. And then there's the greatest grandchildren that are here with us. So as we believe in the past and the future is in the present, that we have this opportunity to share this gift. So to leave us in a good way and balance and celebration, I would love for us to come together in this box here as we started in the great freedom of the tree of life out there, that we will be the gift to society, and that each and every one of us will go out to our homes and our workplaces and make that little change, plant a little tree, plant that seed, go back home and share around the coffee table and bring that good food back home that we've eaten throughout the 2 days, through our mind, body, and spirit and emotion. And it's an honor. So maybe I could just ask us if anybody had anything else to say. But I think I would only ask us just to rise and just find ourselves in a circle, leave those chairs wherever they are. And remember that those chairs are those empty voices that are not here with us today. And Schiff has one thing to say.
Yeah. So let's circle around the chairs, guys. Let's just break it right open. We can go right back to where, let's keep this empty chairs, because the beauty of what we're actually doing is that there's an emptiness and there's a fullness, and there may be an emptiness inside and there might be a fullness on the chair. So
I have I have something to say in support of what Vivekji just said. Study your religion well. Those are the words that he said. Then you can do whatever you want to do. It will be good. Study it well. Understand. The problems are lack of understanding. The clear cutting of the forest. Forget about the forest, clear cutting of the human beings. That is what is happening in the world. Every day. I don't know how many people are clear cut. So, in the name of the Almighty, be compassionate. Let's be sensible. Let's understand. With understanding, rituals make sense. Without understanding, rituals are nothing but a waste of time. I'm sorry I opened my mouth too much, but that is me. Another thing that I want to talk about is the clover leaf, and this is in hard copy, the launching issue of the Journal of Spiritual Heritage Education Network. I would request you humbly not to use the word Shen, because Shen gets confused with Shiv. Okay? I have been called Shen many times. I am not Shen. Shen is Spiritual Heritage Education Network. Understanding well is educational, and that's what Spiritual Heritage Education stands for. Understanding and education. And please, this is an instrument of education. Contribute to it. Contribute your thoughts, your aspirations, your research, whatever you do to promote understanding of existence, of everything. Everything is a system because it comes from one source. And we wreck the system if we do not understand that we are part of that one system. And every part of that system is important. And understanding is the key, education is the key. Please contribute to it, write for it, and you can all get to read it. It's supposed to be an e-journal, and if you click on the published issues, there's only one issue published, and you can look at the cover, you can look at the dedication, the publisher's note, or whatever, you may have it, or you can look at the whole journal. This is the whole journal. You click on the PDF version of the whole journal, you can print it, you can put it on your iPad, and you can read it when you're sitting on the can and doing your thing. And if you want to sit on the computer and read it, you can go to the website. And the website is cloverleaf.spiritualeducation.org. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that, Shiv. Contrary to popular belief, using your laptop and going to the bathroom are not exclusive. So a couple of housekeeping rules. So for those of you who still want to share, your feelings about things, there is a questionnaire at the back that you can fill out. Also, we'll be sending around a survey electronically to anyone we have email for as an alternative way for you to provide us with input. So we want to thank you all very much for attending, participating, sharing, and hopefully growing with all of us. So be the change we want to see. Thank you.
Shiv, table 2 is ready. Would you come?
Okay, so I'm honored to, as I mentioned, when we open one door, another door closes, but in our way, it just gets better and better. And I just want to remind us that when we went through the days of emotions and histories and the positive, negative, and the neutral, and our migrations in the last few days, that this time in our lives has been foreseen. And when I shared that medicine wheel and that story of the unity, that it was a long time coming, and to see this actually take place and to see all the flavors and rhythms and vibrations of the heart and the mind coming here, it's a blessing. So I want to remind us that it's a celebration. So as we're going to celebrate this great, beautiful circle of life and the good work of Shen and Shiv, Spiritual Heritage Educational Network, and Fred and all of our facilitators and helpers and volunteers, there is a donation box in the back there. And more hands, less work, and which way we can find ourselves to continue this circle, absolutely, and I'm looking forward to it. So what I'll ask all of us to do is gather our hands together into a circle. I'll hold the mic just to include the future and the past, present, and future into this. And if I can get Melissa to hold my shoulder, and as we're all connected, and we'll be praying for all those that are out there listening to this on the World Wide Web and wherever this may go with the great mystery. So as in the spirit of breathing, we'll take a deep breath and Abjog Jamnador, Chigijik Nakash, boy, Ting Danjaba, Mekanak, them. Mishomas Nokomis, we say miigwech for the beauty of these days that you've come and walked and talked with us as your grandchildren. We walk as grandchildren and we walk for our great-great-grandchildren. We've come together in the power of the circle and the power of unity, and we brought our mind, body, spirit, and emotions together to share in this good work that is about upon us. And we are now thankful and grateful for these gifts of life. And as we move into the spirit of thanksgiving, we give thanks and we'll harvest these gardens of the mind, heart, spirit, and the emotion to make a better world in our worlds. And we understand that through this education and the sharing that we have nurtured our own world individually so that we can become greater collectively. And through this power that we've been brought together, that we will continue this power. And we ask all those spirits that came in from all directions that we are honored to come and be a part of this, that as much as we are here physically, we know that you are here as well spiritually, and that you'll move through our body, through our mental and physical and emotional realms, and that we'll take this goodness back home, and that we'll continue to watch over us, and that we'll all have a safe journey back home, and we'll carry this good breath of life with us as we breathe in the heavens and release to the earth and make our steps. So I want to say miigwech to all the relations and all the directions we brought in from the eastern doors, and all the directions and relations we brought in from the southern doors, all the relations and all the nations of the western door. I want to say miigwech to all the nations and all of our relations from the northern door. We want to look upon the stars and this moon and the sun that have been watching over us through these days and nights. I want to give thanks to Mother Earth for bringing us together and supporting us as we stand strong together in unity. And I want to say miigwech to the fire that burns within our hearts, that will burn stronger as we leave in this good way and leave in balanced, that this circle of life will continue in greatest magnificence that has been foreseen from our ancestors of us coming together as unified hearts and minds, as one mind and one heart. So I'd like to say miigwech, 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 miigwech. So one moment of silence for all of us, and just take a nice deep breath. And I'd ask us all to reach into our hearts and give one good yell out of life and celebration on the count of 3. 3, 2, 1.